It's okay because, hey, we're going to see our first WWA. There's 3 WWA matches on the show tonight. And
you got all the information.
I do, and Vic the Stick Ross is as familiar with the WWA as I am. Al Patterson, the great King Kong Patterson, a local and regional legend, still running the WWA. Dustin Bozworth. This kid comes to us from Oklahoma. He trained in a Harley race camp. He was also on Steve Austin's Broken Skull. He's built very well. He's a nice kid, well-spoken kid, but he's got a mean streak. And he told me he'll do whatever it takes to win a match. He doesn't care because his goal is to go to the top, maybe be on TV, he says, every Monday or Tuesday. And as you can see, a well-put-together athlete here.
Well, it's often said you don't go into this business to make friends, and clearly he's living by that lifestyle. He's not in it to make friends. He's in it for himself. He's in it to like you said, make it appearances on Monday and Tuesday and the big time.
And we'll see if the body and the talent go hand in hand, because sometimes you could look great and not be the best wrestler. Look at Scott Flash Norton,
who just made his comeback over the weekend.
That's what I heard. That's what I'm trying to be topical here. This next guy, he comes to us from Sacramento, California, the Super Beast, Chris Crotte. He was a little bit more to the vest. I tried to get some questions out of him. He says he's just here to win and get his name out there and take on some other territories. So a guy who says, I'm going to let my talking happen in the squared circle.
That just tells me he's a dummy who can't string 3 sentences together. Unlike our broadcast partner, who could write you a book.
Was that me?
That's you.
It sounded like me. I was unsure.
So,
thank you for calling me well-spoken, though. I appreciate that.
We've done this a lot. We've been in this business a long time. Do you still get a little bit, maybe excitement's not the word, but intrigue to see guys we haven't seen before? These are 2 wrestlers I've never gotten a chance to see, and they both looked the part.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely see if they can put that together.
I think it's a mixed bag of when you see fresh talent like this. You don't know what to expect because you've never seen them before, but then there's the intrigue to see what they can bring to the table.
And Al Patterson always seems to, this is what makes him unique, too, as a promoter. There's a lot of guys that work the Wisconsin, Illinois stretch of highway, great wrestlers, all of them great. Sacramento, Oklahoma,
yes.
Brooklyn, Miami, Florida. Those are the guys you're seeing today that Al Patterson, he likes to have a little bit of a fresh perspective, people that you don't always get to see.
Well, we're definitely getting a fresh perspective in this match. These guys are brand new to Legacy Pro Wrestling, and I think there's definitely a bit of intrigue to see what these guys can bring to the table. Even if maybe we're not familiar with them prior to this event.
Let me tell you something. Before my tragic house fire, I had a tape. Al Patterson was the first in this area to bring in the Road Warriors. They weren't called the Road Warriors. They didn't have a manager. They didn't have face paint. They wore army fatigues, and he brought them here to Milwaukee and got to showcase those guys' talents. That's what he's done his whole career, and we've got 2 more examples of that.
And, of course, last show, we got to see the homecoming of Road Warrior Animal at the Black Friday event.
Absolutely. He was one of the first guys in Milwaukee to bring in, at the time, Randy Poffo, who went on to greater things as Randy Macho Man Savage.
Absolutely.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Don't get him started on his Macho Man.
It's not safe for TV.
Yeah. So once you get him started, there's no off switch.
All right, here we go. Just from a physical appearance, do these guys remind you of anybody? Is there some kernel of light that comes on and makes it, hey, reminds me of this?
The gentleman in black is Chris Crotte, correct?
Yes.
Chris Crotte, and this isn't going to be a very good comparison. I mean, like, physically, he looks like Luther Reigns.
Okay.
Hopefully he's a lot better in the ring than Luther Reigns was. But
Certainly looks that way right now.
The haircut and the facial hair and then the physique, that's what I get from him. I get a Luther Reigns type vibe from him.
I would be hard-pressed to be worse than Luther Reigns, I'll tell you that. And I did get a chance to look at some of the victories both of these gentlemen have had on their path to here. in Milwaukee, and it's some impressive names on there. Some names you're going to look at and go, hey, oh, hey, I know who those guys are.
You know, to say topical, I would say that Chris Crotte reminds me of the Machine Cage, just with less muscles.
He looks like a younger version of Droz.
Come on. You got a match. Let's go.
Kind of the facial features.
Sure.
2, 3, let's go.
But both, physical appearances aside, everybody wants to make their own mark.
Absolutely.
No matter whether it's a compliment, whether it's an honor, whatever it is, you don't really want to be compared to somebody. You want to make your own road. You want to be the guy who goes, I want people to be compared to me.
Yes.
And you have to have that hunger. But you know this. You're still active. You're still competing.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice if somebody says, hey, you remind me of this guy or that guy.
But then you're still, you have that impression that you're that person. You're a ripoff of this person.
Right.
You're not your own person. So you're continue to be haunted with that. You're gonna be stapled with that because everybody will say, oh yeah, he's a good wrestler. Reminds me of this person. Not, oh, he's a great wrestler on his own.
So far, I'm liking what I've seen. These two gentlemen, from what I've been told as well, though they've been working shows under the WWA banner across the Midwest for a while, they've never been in a ring together. So this is a little bit of a feeling out period, getting some jabs in there before the knockout blow.
Yeah, I did not get that information that they had not been in a ring together, but I kind of surmised that myself just from watching them kind of feel each other out early here.
And that's always interesting from your perspective too. You've been in that situation many times where you're facing somebody that's new, and obviously you like the challenge of new opponents, but sometimes if it's a guy that you've gone up and down the road with, even if it's somebody you can't stand, at least there's a predictability factor. They don't have that.
Right. You know what to expect going in.
Crotte working over the arms now on the ropes, and again, big arm bar and a chop, big knife edge. Oh, big forearm too. Another one! Oh
nice.
My goodness!
I think you could hear that we could hear that here at the commentator's booth, which is beyond the back row.
Oh, impressive physical display by Chris Crotte.
Hey, he's got to follow up though.
Yeah, he certainly does.
He's allowing Bozworth too much time to reset and be able to get the consciousness back in his skull here.
Yeah, Dustin Bozworth, if he's wise and use his time, and he did use his time wisely, he should be able to turn some of the momentum. Ooh, and a big clothesline. I'll tell you what, these guys aren't afraid to lay it in, and I know that's another trademark that you had through your career, Vic.
Yeah, I've actually been accused of being a mite stiff at times.
Yeah. But again, if you know what to expect, you know how to kind of combat that a little bit, and it seems like both of these guys are not afraid to be stiff with each other. But how much too, and Alex, you wrestle all over the Midwest too. When you're in a building for the first time, where you see faces that none of them are familiar to you, how much? I mean, I know everybody says, we don't care about fans, we pay attention to fans, but it's hard to not. There's always some semblance of familiarity when you can see somebody or that you recognize or a building that you've worked in before.
I think the fresh faces really it's twofold because just as much as the fans may not know, as a result, they don't know if to cheer or boo for the newcomers. At the same time, the newcomers, they're not familiar with this fan base. They've never seen these fans before. They've never seen them in the street. They've never seen them, in their hometown, in that area, no matter what, even at the meet and greet, before the show. So they haven't seen any of these fans. So, again, it's twofold. Where the concept that you don't know what to expect from whether it's the fan or the wrestler in the ring.
Sure, in certain fan bases and certain groups like certain styles of wrestling different than others. Some are more critical, some are more appreciative, some like high flyers, some like the power guys, some like the flat-out brawls. You don't know what you're walking into sometimes when you walk into a new
And
building.
even in some cases, some wrestlers have friends and family in the crowd, and they know who to really fight for. In this case, when you're really out of your element, you're completely away from your hometown, so to speak. You don't have the friends and family to support you, so you really have just strangers trying to support you, which is a really weird element, essentially, to try to have somebody that you don't know really get behind you.
Oh, big four. Man, I'm telling you, you can hear that back here. You can hear that echoing through the building, and we don't even have a working mic in the building.
The ambience sound must be good here in this venue, though.
Well, this is a great venue.
So here we go again with a guy with a great advantage going and not following up.
Yeah, now he's finally going to come out and get him, but 10, 15 seconds too late as far as I'm concerned. And kind of throws him back in. Lumberjack Pete is here.
He is.
Yeah. A lot of luminaries here, a lot of old faces, fresh faces.
Nice that he could take time off from modeling as the brawny guy.
Oh my! Caved in his chest. Oh my.
Oh, nice catch.
Oh wow! Look at the power.
That was nice. Unfortunately, the pounding he took previously, he's not able to follow up immediately.
Yeah, and the sheer brutality again. These guys are in great shape. You can't get in good enough shape as far as I'm concerned sometimes just to take a beating. You can run ropes, you can have some conditioning, you can go long, but when you're getting hit square in the mouth and square in the chest and square in the throat, I don't care how much you work out, you're just not going to be able to sustain that. Just like getting poked in the eye. You can work out all you want, but how are you going to work out your eyes?
Well, yeah, there's
Exactly.
certainly no workout in any gym that I'm aware of that essentially gives you a beating, just like that we've seen in the middle of the ring here. There's no equipment that you sign up for that essentially just gives you a pounding.
Wow, and it looks like Crotte in control right now, but still a little bit winded and
Sluggish.
yeah, very much so.
And who could blame him? They've been going tooth and nail since the bell.
Yeah.
They're really trying to make an impression here on the Legacy Pro Wrestling crowd. They're trying to give them everything. They're 125%, and as a result, these guys are just being torn just right to the end of the tie. I'm going to take it home.
Yeah, it's a backbreaker there. And
I had it in my head, but I couldn't translate it.
You know what? Speaking of taking it home, I thought that was it, and it's not. Bosworth still has some life left in him.
You don't see a lot of guys use that over-the-shoulder backbreaker anymore.
We certainly do not. I'll be interested at intermission to get some comments from Angel Armani. I want to get his thoughts on his match.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that
I
conversation.
think a lot of people would like to be a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Oh, small package. And he
Oh
was
my
able to hold it.
goodness! That came
Talk
out
about
of
an
nowhere.
upset.
Yeah.
These guys were
Bosworth.
throwing everything at each other, and it ends in a roll-up.
Well, how many times? Think of some of the most physical matches you've seen in your career, be it on the indie circuit or in ECW. These guys, Mick Foley and some of his battles, and they put everything on the line, and then it's a schoolboy or it's a small package or something that some would say basic because you've worn your opponent down to the point where you could take advantage of that way.
I think ultimately, too, that your opponent's expecting the kitchen sink to get thrown at them. They're not expecting the roll-up. They're not expecting the small package. So ultimately, it's going to throw them for a loop, and they're not going to expect it, just like how Chris Crotte wasn't expecting a small package to put him away, of all things. I think the fans are equally surprised. I saw a couple people in the front row argue that our ref Jesse had maybe missed the kick out, and indeed it was actually a 2 count, not a 3 count.
Yeah, that kid's legitimate. He's crying. this fan right here in row 2.
That poor thing.